sponsors Tin Your Tip with Gary Dibley.
Well, good evening and welcome to Tin Your Tip with me, Gary Dibley, on a Monday at 9 o'clock with the ever capable co-presenter, that is Mark. And yes, this week, it's been a lot, well, I say this week, this is the start of this week, lots of stuff going on. I was watching Dave Kitson's show last night with Mr. Dorm himself, ever present on the show, and yes, he's coming to London. So it's all been sorted, he is staying in the shed, and he's going to go and do a big rant and then come back here and we're going to get hammered. He doesn't know it yet, but I think that may well be the plan. But as a result of last week, I don't know if you watched the show last week, but basically I've been playing. I have a new screeny thing. So I thought I'd try and design a sort of set for the show myself, because all the other guys have these lovely big professional things, and I've got a dibbly DIY job. I've modded my own set, shall we say. So let me shrink and move stuff around and I'll show you it. Probably may only last a week, I don't know, but here we go, one sec. So we have a wooden wall and a TV. That's as far as I got. But yes, basically this means that, and I've been chatting with Mark, we're going to start mixing things up a little bit on Tin Your Tip, and basically we are going to be having, via the TV, we can have some live guests in, and me and Mark will potentially, he says potentially, be discussing, if you like, modding things live with the chat, a bit of Tin Your Tip interaction. Which is always good with a tip, I find. What have we got lined up for you this week? This week we are pretty much playing with toys, I think. I got the Lego out. So we've got, if you like, the first part of a Lego mod from me. And Mark has been playing with Wii. So quite an interesting show, I think. I'm going to go into our first little vid and I'll see you back after this. So we are back again on the 10th of December, and we are on our run up to Christmas, and you may well see laid out before you, we've decided to have a go at something a little bit Lego-y. Yes, I'm thinking, some people get bored when off over Christmas, and if you buy your kids some Lego, steal some. We're just gonna do a little 14500, or attempt to, a little Lego type, or Lego-esque, we'll call it, switch, anti-connection and some assortment of Lego. Now I had a little dry run, and every time it has come out completely different. Obviously making this for a 14500, you can make it as tarty or as non-tarty as you want. I'm going for non-tarty and simply functional, which shouldn't be an issue. Yes, so not much Lego there, as you can see, but a very quick way of making a very, I won't say quick, because I don't know how long it's going to take yet. Obviously once your Lego's in place you're going to have to glue it and stuff, so to make it more permanent, and obviously glue in some connectors and this, that and the other. And we're going to have to drill it, and I'm not sure how well this will drill, but being as it is plastic, I'm sure it should be sort of okay. We'll see as we go along. Firstly, let me lay out some of the pieces, he says. What we're going to do is, now for those of you who wants to know how, this is a 4x2, 4, 6, 8, so it's a 4x8 little board there. And I'm going to try and mix up the colours a little bit as we're going as well. So we're going to call this a, God knows what. So I'm going to have that one there, and I'm going to have a single on the top. There! Now I'm going to start to basically just build my sides. I'm going to try and get these, build up some sides. He's getting all anal with his Lego already. I'm going to dry do this first, and then realistically, so we can get a dry fit, and then we'll start taking it apart again. Now, I know some of you are going to be really annoyed that I'm not matching the Lego. I don't care. This is, you know, we're going to have a United Benetton type feel, or the United Colours of, in this one. Just place them all out, roughly, it says. Now obviously I need an end, and an end this end. As you can see, obviously, we have a little base and a box. Now the reason for the way that we're going to lay this out as we are, somewhere around about there we're going to have our divider going here, and this is going to be for our positive end of our battery, neg end there. And our 14500, you will find, will sit very nicely in that little compartment there. Let me take you down so you can have a look. There. And as we build this up, we're going to go another layer. Do we go another layer? Yes. Let's. We got another layer across the top. And one across the back, and now that's there, so I'm going to need another layer there. Now I know from when I practiced in the past, a couple of these small little spacey bits on the top of here, and you'll see where we're going with this in a minute, will provide a good key in there for our positive end of our battery, and enough room in there for a bit of springiness. And I'm just going to pop a couple in there, and a couple in there, and effectively this portion here, when that top cap's on, that's where our switch will be seated in the middle of that there. Again, we're just sort of playing at the moment. I'll take this top cap off, because now what we're going to need to do is work out the height of our battery. So I'm going to get a couple of these down in here, a couple of flat 4s on the top of there. I'm going to get a long one across the top of there, and another long one across the top of there. I'm then going to add, let's just see, no, I need another couple on top of there as well. There. I've now got these little hinge sections here. I'm just going to fit on top of these. It's not going to work, is it? You know why? I put them around the wrong way. They're going that way. Yeah, like that. A long flat one across the top there, and this one on the top here. Now effectively, that will then go down like that, and this single one that we put down inside here, this little flat one, this inside catch here will sit on, and that will form, if you like, a little base. Now I'm going to need probably another long one across the top of here, but then that will be my lid. That will then hold that tight down in there. Get another one longer down there, and that will close up that space for the battery there. Then all we are going to do is add our switch, which is going in there somewhere like that, and our ATI connection in the bottom there, and we will have a Lego mod. Now you can make this more rounded, you can do lots of stuff with lots of different pieces. Now I didn't have that many pieces. What I'm going to go away and do is start gluing bits in place. I'm going to have to start getting a couple of these bits cut out, so I'm going to have to run wires through, obviously, and they should slot down in there, so it means I've got to nibble a corner out one of these bricks. But I'm going to go away, have a look at the best way to, if you like, glue this together, and then we'll pop back and have a chat in two. Well, I thought this week, as we're getting close on to Christmas, might do a nice little novelty mod for a change. Just something nice, quick and simple. And this is a little sweet dispenser toy, which has a nice compartment in the back for sweets, or fit a nice 18500 nicely once I mod it a bit. And the top will just push off. So I'll cut out this section, mount a couple of battery holders, and run the wires up to a small switch, which if I there we go. Then so you'll be able to see that when you push the trigger, it pushes this little lever forward. So if I add in one of these little micro switches here, so I'm mounted, I can push against it, and that should activate the unit. With the 510 connector sitting in there, I've already cut out a little bit of the plastic to give me a bit of room. I'll basically fit in there, fire up against it. Dead simple mod. So we'll begin. And the first thing I need to do is cut up one of these. So all I want off this is the two end pieces, because I'm going to be short on space and this is too long anyway. So just run the knife down each side. Pull that wire out. As I want to avoid cutting off the wires if at all possible. So just pop it down there. And then just bend it all the way back. And just pop it off. Get that one done without moving the wire. Once again. Got that. So this is our two pieces. So that's going to sit there. That'll sit through there. I think. Yep, that's exactly the right size for the 18500 battery, or 490 or whatever you want to call it. So that will make life so much easier. So next I need to cut out this plastic section here. Should be fun. I'm just going to score
out what I want to cut out. Just to hopefully avoid if I put any pressure anywhere. If anything cracks, it'll crack along these lines. Rather than manually. It would help if I locked that in place with that. More importantly is to get this side right. So this is the one where it could all go wrong. So now down each side. So nice. So this should be a bit easier to get through now. And I'll probably use a drill, I think, to make life a bit easier. I'll come to this side. That's fine. Crack didn't sound so good, but whatever it was, that cracked was okay.
And there we go, our first little section. As I've been reading some of the comments, and yes, Lego is very fun to mod with. You can pretty much, first time I've played with it this weekend, and you can pretty much, dependent on how many bricks you got, you can make pretty much anything. You can make that into an 18650, you can make it VV, you could put, as somebody suggested in chat, you could put clear bricks in there and put an LED behind it. And yes, it is true, as Andy Bell's pointed out, once you understand the principles behind, if you like, the wiring and how a mod works, you can pretty much mod anything. What I'm going to do, I'm going to just give you a little bit of a clue. If you didn't know already how to watch us, I'm going to slip into the ads. I'll be back after this.
If you can't watch our shows live, try some of these. Go to YouTube at youtube.com/user/VaporTrailsTV and you can subscribe there. All of our shows are uploaded as soon as possible after they've gone out live. Enjoy watching it on YouTube. Lots of people do. Alternatively, go to Google and type in podcast vaportrails.tv and iTunes. Click on the link and that will take you to a page that shows you the Vapor Trails TV podcast. View it in iTunes, and when you get to iTunes, don't forget to click on subscribe free, and each of the shows will be downloaded to your hard drive as soon as they come out. Or you can use video on demand. Go to www.vaportrails.tv, click on vPlayer, pick the show you want to watch, in this case it's the Haze Hour, and then you can pick the episode that you want to watch from every one that we've ever done. They're all there. Under normal circumstances, you'll watch it at 360p, which means everybody can see it. It'll go full screen. You can do whatever you want with it. So there you go, 3 ways that you can watch vaportrails.tv. Subscribe and enjoy. Thanks. If you can't watch our shows live,
Liberty Flight sponsors 10-year tip with Gary Dibley. iViber and iViber Elixir, based in Yorkshire, for your e-cig needs. That's iViber.co.uk and iViber-elixir.co.uk. iViber and iViber-elixir.co.uk are proud sponsors of ViberTrails.tv. Sponsored by Liberty Flights.
And we are back in the room. Yes, for those interested, you can buy, I think, used Lego for about 15 quid for a kilo on eBay. Yes, huge boxfuls of the stuff. And if you want to prototype something up, very good stuff. With all that said, one quick word of warning. If you are posting or having anything posted over this Christmas period from a vendor or anybody, get it sent recorded. Everything I've had recorded, I've received, shall we say. Or one package that was sent non-recorded has taken over 2 weeks to arrive. I do hope the postman is enjoying my cigars. Thank you very much. Anyway, on with the modding. Bit more Lego, and then we'll be popping into second part of the Wii mod.
I've decided to, I haven't glued yet, I've decided to have a little look at switch placement. Now with this, it's fairly easy because I'm pretty much going to go dead centre between those four little chunks there. So I'm just going to run a pilot hole through first. Oh, and Lego's nice to drill. I'm just going to get the a little step bit in there and start taking out some chunks in the middle of this Lego. Being careful, because obviously this is not a very big bit to hold when you're trying to drill a hole, and it might well snatch. So I'm hoping that with a big enough hole, that switch is going to sit. Just needs a little tad more out. No, a little filing that was. But look at that. That switch is going to sit in between those perfectly. Nice little square. And then that's going to sit in the top of there, like so. The other thing that I'm going to do is, very quickly, just take that switch out of there. Because of the way this is going to be running, obviously, let me just take this off so we can see. We're going to have our spring end down in here, so we're going to run a cable down in the middle of here, which is going to have to go under this section here. So this bottom one that goes in here, I'm going to have to take a corner off so we can get some heavy like a wire through. Now, I'm not 100% sure I'm going to do this, but I'm just going to start mullering away a little bit of this and try to start taking, if you like, a corner off. So when it sits, there's a clear path or passage underneath it. Obviously, once you've got that off, if you've got a file handy, which I do, I shall go and get one. What we can do then is start filing this little tour down on a corner. And if my parents are watching, which they normally do, This isn't the Lego you bought me when I was probably 7 or 8. This is fresh Lego. You can see my mother cringing. So I reckon, it's alive. By taking a little chunk off that corner there, when that's mounted down in, that's going to give me enough of an angle for a cable to go under the bottom. So now I am on to the gluing phase. So I'm going to go away and glue this up. I'll show you what I'm going to use for the connections first. As I say, as usual, we're winging things. We normally wing things. Just clean these up as I go. And obviously, by no means are we sort of expecting children to be making e-cigs. I've got a little, if you like, a joined pos and neg pin here. What I'm going to do is just, with a pair of snips, cut that in half, holding it so it doesn't fly, and then once this is filed down, that's going to give me a pos spring down in the bottom there, and then the other one will be connected up here on the neg. The pos, that is the neg that I've just tried. And what I'm going to do is just sit those in place for the minute, just so I can try, if you like, a rough battery fit. Always sounds much easier than actually doing it. As I say, you can make this as pretty as you want, really, depending on what Lego you have available. Let's try that. So yeah, look, more than enough tension on that battery. I'll get a decent connection on that. Make it a bit bigger, it'll take a 18650, or tile it up, put some corners on it, whatever way you want to do it. But yep, we are getting there. I'm going to go away, glue it together. I'll pop back when that all is set off, because we will have to start drilling bits out. I thought better of it. I thought what I might do is actually just show you how I'm gluing this up. I've got a little bit of super glue on a brush here, and all I'm doing is dropping a bead on a little tiny bit on the top of each of the chunky bits down there, a little bit down in the middle, and then dropping my my square down in, giving it a good push, and that should set in there. Continuing to do that all the way around, realistically. You know, a little dab on what I'm working on, a little dab up in the end bit there, putting my Lego bit down, wiping off any excess as I'm going. And just pushing my blocks in place. And really, once I've got this, it's going to take a little while to get done, I would have thought. Sorry, just trying to work out what I'm going to do here. Yeah, put a four across the back. Because you want it, obviously, you know, it's going to have to be taking a spring under tension, so you want to have a good tight glued fix in there. When you're putting in these two bits, I've been buttering up just up the insides as well. So give it a good chance to all set together. But yeah, just feeding your glue on your ends, up inside there, and popping your bit in. Now the bit I made earlier, I just need to test up where that's going to sit. Which is going to be there. Yeah, and with that down inside there, I don't know if you can see that, but that has given me a little groove down there just to run the wire through. So that is looking like that's going to work as well.
So effectively, yeah, what you would do is you would keep gluing as you're going, and if you can, obviously, if you've got joins, the best thing to do is try. I'm not teaching you how to do Lego, but try and get a join over a join as you would if you're building a brick wall. That way, it should all form a nice, tight, firm mod. I'll pop back in a little bit when I have this fully glued, and we'll start running some wires in. See you back after this.
So. That'll do. Hopefully I should just be able to snap these bits out. Oh, maybe safer for me to cut them out. Back shortly. Okay, so in the end I went with brute force and ignorance. Just use the snips to basically cut off the bits, snap them out, and then just neatened it up a bit with the Stanley knife. So now hopefully if I pop that into there, that should just about sit. A little bit high, I'm going to have to trim off the top slightly. On the bottom, I think. Yeah. So. Just trimming a few bits off the bottom. It's a lot easier to cut away small pieces than it is to try and hack off a big lump all in one go. So now that can basically sit in there, plenty of room for the battery. That's fair. And on the negative side, trim that down ever so slightly. And that should sit inside of there. Like so. Again, that gives a nice good position. And this channel along the top where the sweets would originally have gone gives you a nice place to put all the wiring. Which the negative is going to run up. I think the negative is going to go to the switch this time, because that's furthest away. That gives me the shortest wire. So I'll run that to the switch here. Positive will come up straight to the atomizer connector. I just need to run a wire from the negative back to the switch. Positioning the switch is going to be the hard part, I think. With that said, I think I'll glue these battery connectors in place now. I'm going to use super glue. Oh, apologies if you can hear my stomach rumbling. Just a good overall coating of super glue all the way around. just sit right in there. Just hold that for a second and grab the other one. Making sure you get the wires out of the way first, and then again just a quick coating. Straight back on the lid. And just wiggle it around into place. And hopefully that'll be it. Temper of vape, I think. As you might have guessed with this, there's not going to be a lot of soldering or anything going on. So we take our little micro switch,
and hopefully you guys are, or may have noticed, the significant improvement in Mark's video quality. I do believe he has a new camera, which has been helping as well with the audio, and I was quite, I say, surprised when they come through. Mark said he had surprised me this week, and that was it. They are far better quality, and thank you very much, Mark, for putting in the time and the effort and the tools to do the job. We're gonna whiz into our second hour break. I'll pop back after this, and we shall get on with the modding.
iWeber and iWeber Elixir, based in Yorkshire, for your e-cig needs. That's iWeber.co.uk and iWeber-elixir.co.uk. iWeber and iWeber-elixir.co.uk are proud sponsors of VaporTrails.tv.
I don't know what I've done then. Press the wrong button. Yes, sorry, I was doing something. Two mices is not good when you're doing a live show, and when you're trying to type in Skype and clicking the wrong button, sometimes you can take things live when you really shouldn't do. No doubt. Let me just see, have I had a slap for that yet? No, probably will do later. But yes, as I was saying beforehand, and I do apologise to our wonderful sponsors for cutting your ads short. They were great. Buy some stuff. Yes, what was I going to say? I've been having some thoughts. Next week, hopefully, we will be having Mark here live on the TV, which is sort of, you see, make my arm disappear and everything. It's way back there. But hopefully we're thinking of doing, if you like, a sort of a questions and answers session. So you can post your questions via chat to
myself and Mark, and we'll attempt to add some live. We'll both be on screen and we'll have a little chat. I don't know how it's going to work. We'll just try. Part of taking things forward and trying to get a little bit more professional, which somehow I don't think will ever come. I'm trying, but I doubt whether it will get there. Yes, as we say. The other thing I'm thinking of, not 100% sure yet, depending on you guys, Christmas Eve, believe it or not, will be when Tin Your Tip is scheduled for on a Monday night. And this year we have very little planned. We have a very excited young daughter that will be going to bed early. My wife will have been working all day, so she'll be going to bed early. I shall be sat playing by myself. So I'm quite happy to be here. Christmas Eve, if you guys want a show put out. And we'll try and do something a little bit special. So let us know. If you want to show Christmas Eve, I'm quite happy to do one. We should have enough content. We'll see. See how it goes. Just give me some feedback. If you guys are, will watch it, I'll put it out. Don't have a problem with that. Now, because of my wonderful cook up, I've totally forgot where I am in the order. I think we are going back into this one.
Basically, it just wants to sit up against this edge part here, I think. Or not. That's our maker switch, that's what's up. Right, let's try this again. Where is that sitting? I think I might have to set this in place with a bit of epoxy putty. Just to hold that there. Just fix this right there. I think yeah, it's set slightly back, so I need to add epoxy putty there. But before I do that, I think I should solder the wires in place first. Otherwise it's going to be very awkward trying to solder into there. So I need one wire, I need a negative wire to go to one end. I need another black piece of wire. Did have around here somewhere. Another short length. That'll do. Just quickly strip the wire. And a name tame, I think. Just clear a bit of rubbish away. Get that maker switch so I don't get mixed up again. Right. So just going to be a simple like that. Finding some solder. Turn it up nicely. Simple as that. I'll solder up the positive on the adapter connector. Tin up the wire. Find something to hold it. In fact, I'm gonna just keep that hot. And just let the solder set. So there we have the positive done. The switch is wired up. So now I just need my epoxy. And whilst I get that ready, I'd like to see if anybody out there has anything they want to see, I don't know, a technique shown of how to do something in particular, or if there's something they want to see modded, drop me a line, and if I can do it and if it doesn't cost the earth, it might feature in a it might feature in a future show. That's not easy to say, you know. So you can always find me on the BTTV forum. Just send me a message on there and we'll see what we can work out for you.
Okay, well, I have been gluing and setting, and we should be in place now. What I'm going to attempt to do next is drill out where I want my Yati to go. Now, I've got my switch on here. I don't want to be drilling because I've mounted and glued my switch, which will be sitting there, if you like, as a final connection. But what I'm going to do is just put a temporary piece on the top so I can hold it all together while I'm attempting to drill this. Now I'm going to go pretty central and between two bricks with a pilot hole to start with, which is a little bit worrying, so I'm not sure exactly how this is going to work out. And that appeared to go through with the greatest of ease. Now the problem I've got, which I've only just thought about, which is absolutely goddamn stupid, in order to get the depth that I need to get, I'm going to pretty much be drilling into a wall. Let me see. I might just about do it. May just about do that. I'm not sure. Might have to pull out something I've just done in order to do this, which would be silly. But I'm just easing in with a step out. Just checking my diameter. Now I've got my diameter there on the outy bit. It's going to need a bit more on the inny bit. But what I might try and do is just get a soldering iron in there and take off a bit of the excess, so I can ease it in that way. Ease it in, he says, it's going to be a bugger. Yeah, you see, typical, isn't it? What I'm definitely going to have to do is try doing some Lego burning without trying to burn the outsidey bits. Maybe we'll do it. And it has. Look at that. And that's going to sit in there nice and tight. Go on my sign. So we've got that bit drilled out, and while I have molten plastic currently spewing from my soldering iron, what I'm going to look at doing next is making, see, there's multicoloured confetti on the desk now as well. The beauty of this as well, that I've found, you can take it apart and remake it 3 or 4 times before you actually decide on what you want to do. But I thought I'd just go straight in at the deep end and have a play and see what we can come up with. Obviously I'm going to need to get my neg connector mounted up. Now as we've got this 2 compartment here running through here where our switch is going to go, I've left enough wire there, or enough room to get a wire through there. So that's going to run sort of pretty much flush on the inside of the mod. Not sure which way we're going to switch this, but I'm sure we'll find out. So looking at my spring here, what I'm going to have to do is solder my wire onto, if you like, the right hand side. So I'm just going to strip that back a little bit first. Use a bit of solder to tin that up. And I'm going to have to just drop a little bead of solder just on the outer edge of this connector here. Just a tiny blob. And I'll run that off the outside of it like that, pressing down as I go. Once that is set off, I shall bend the wire back away from the connector. So out, hop. So that way, and then that's going to run the length of the mod at the base, straight the way through up to our ETI connection end. Probably switch this one. Not sure. Might switch the pos on this particular mod here, and just go straight through on the neg. If that's the case, it will make things a hell of a lot easier, I'm thinking. But it's going to start by feeding my wire through. And use a pair of snips to retrieve the end of that through the other side of that brick. Run that down in, position it round, and I'm just going to sort of test fit it to start with. Fiddly little buggers. Down in there like that. So somewhere down there. What I might do is just drop a bead of glue on there now and secure that in place. While we're here, it would be rude not to. And again, what I'm doing, see if I can get down a bit closer so you can see what we're actually doing on this one. You can see there is our spring. I'm just going to pull that away with the pliers ever so slightly, and I'm just going to coat the back end of this in glue. Drop it back down in so I can get it pushed up against the back wall like so. Hold it there for a few ticks, and I'm just going to put my battery in to pressure that up a little bit. So my battery is now going to be holding that in place while it sets. So that is our, if you like, neg end connection in. We've got our ATI end drilled, we have our cable through here. What we can do while we're in soldering mode is just solder up our switch terminals. Just let him have a grip of that ever so slightly, make it easier. He says make it easier, it's probably going to make it harder. So just going to drop a bead of solder on these. They're all nice and ready. And what I'll need to do is work out a rough gauge of where I'm going to need some wire. So it's over from there, and then I need a little tiny bit coming back through to the ATI connection. So effectively I'm going to give this bit a couple of seconds to dry off on the spring end, so the glue setting, and then what I'll be doing is doing the same with the pos, but I'm thinking for the positive wire because if you like, this end of this side of the catch here is that secures on there, as you can see. I've left a gap this side so I can pop the wire over the top in between this groove back down just straight onto the on the neg end of the ATI connection there. So Lego City. I'm going to let that glue for 2 secs. We'll pop back and we'll start connecting up the POS pin and the switch. And unfortunately, we won't be seeing that this week. The Lego mod took a little bit longer than expected, but it is complete. It is, oh, look at that. And I'll tell you what we're going to do. After we watch the completion of this mod, I'll put this one up for a prize. So somebody can win this Lego mod, and it'll be done via the Vapor Trails TV forum. So I'll announce that next week. Don't forget, if you do want to see us Christmas Eve, let me know. I will be putting out a show if you guys want to see it. If you don't, I'll have the night off. Don't mind. Be quite happy to be here, to be honest. We may even get Christmassy with the themes, and I do hope you are liking the new backgrounds and stuff that we've been playing with. It's my first play with a green screen, apart from last week. I think I have the lighting worked out. Can't see any pixely bits, so I hope the experience has been as good for you as it is for me. Thank you very, very much for watching, guys. Thank you for being here yet again. And last week, obviously, we did the children need stuff. Thank you very much to everybody who participated in that. It was very great. We received a lot of donations, and final figure was huge. So no more to be said about that. Obviously, I'll be doing the same again next year. So hopefully, I'll be here in January. Believe it or not, I think it is January the 8th. It will be exactly a year of this ugly face on Vapor Trails TV, and that year has gone very, very quickly. And as Mark mentioned in one of his vids, we occasionally struggle to find stuff to do. It's quite difficult to come up with new ideas every week. So have you guys got any suggestions? At the moment, all I've got in my head for some reason now is Barbie and Ken, but anything other than that, we'll give it a go. Straight after this, I am starting my new little venture, I hope I can say this, on RY4 Radio. Yes, from 9:30, I do have an hour-and-a-half slot where you can suffer with more of my tones and some of my dodgy music. With all that said, thank you very much for watching, guys. Again, cheers, Mark, for your help. It's invaluable. Hope you enjoy it. See you next week. Cheers, guys. Good night.
Liberty Flight sponsors 10-Year Tip with Gary Dibley.